All right, guys. So I wanted to point out something to those of you who are questioning the Mandela effect. You're wondering if there's any real evidence that the Mandela effect is happening and or has happened. If we go to Newspaper Archive, newspaperarchive.com, we can see article after article, 12,561 records for Looney Tunes. And it's not just Looney Tunes misspelling in an article. For one, this was a famous brand in the 1960s, right? If you have articles from the 1960s saying over and over, look, this is a TV guide, or what is this? Oh, okay, that's a softball team named the Looney Tunes. So that was a bad example. So if we look at the newspapers, it's not just, like I said, one misspelling. Disney, Looney Tunes, or Winnie the Pooh, Disney or Looney Tunes ornaments. And time after time, again, newspaper after newspaper. Now, what's interesting is you don't find any newspapers beyond 2004, 2005, right? That was when whatever happened. It was around the year 2004. That's what I think, because when I go through the archive, searching all of these thousands and thousands of articles, guys, I mean, go to page 10, go to page 15, all over the country, people misspelling the Looney Tunes brand, which is not logical. I mean, it doesn't make sense why paper after paper would get this wrong for years. 1959. Looney Tunes was popular in 1959. I clearly remember Looney Tunes being spelled this way. Okay, and it was in my younger years. I didn't watch Looney Tunes much beyond 2004. Beyond 2000, or the 90s, I didn't watch Looney Tunes. But from those memories that I had back in the 90s and the early 2000s, and keep in mind, Newspaper Archive doesn't have all of the newspapers, right? There are a lot of newspapers that it doesn't have. These are only the ones that are in the database, okay? And only the ones that are in the database pre-2004. Look at this. 2004 is the latest date you're going to get on this. And we have our search refined to just Looney Tunes, right? We're not searching between any years or anything like that. When we search Looney Tunes, we get the result, which is 12,561 records for Looney Tunes, which doesn't make sense, but there's more evidence here, okay? So if we look at when LooneyTunes.com was registered, and I made this video several years ago, but that channel has since been deleted. I don't have those videos anymore, but this was the same then as it is now. A little bit surprised about that, but LooneyTunes.com, the way it's spelled, Tunes, was registered in 1999. So in January of 1999, the company registered LooneyTunes.com, Warner Brothers, right? But if we look at the way that I remember it spelled, Looney Tunes, Toons.com, here's something very interesting. I mean, they bought a misspelling of their brand 2 full years before, or over a year, not 2 full years, but over a year before they bought their actual brand name. Now, you have to really wonder why. Why in the world would you buy Looney Tunes, Toons? Warner Brothers is a multi-million-dollar company. They can afford to pay somebody, whatever they want for the domain name if that was the case. They're not going to buy the off-brand or a misspelling of the domain name before they buy the actual domain. They're going to buy the actual domain, make sure they have their brand secured. That's what you're going to want to do as a multi-million-dollar company. But that's not what they did, guys. They bought the misspelling of the domain name over a year before they bought the correct domain. Now, I know that Looney Tunes, Toons, was the way it was always spelled, right? But if you look at history, if you go back and you look at old videos, it has always been Tunes, which means that we're not talking about things changing and there being a historical record in the past or companies changing brands. We're talking about changing from the beginning of time, right? And this is why I give so much thought to the simulation hypothesis and, being able to bump the frequency one way or another. These things that we're doing are not really understood. I look at the Bible and God is coming to destroy those who destroy the earth. And I'm telling you, man, we did something. Something happened. There are way too many people who have the same false memories. There are way too many people back in the 1960s, thousands and thousands and thousands of papers that got this wrong. Okay, Looney Tunes, Toons. That's not going to happen. I mean, as a typo, maybe. Like I said, but it's not a typo. Sorry, I've been blocked. Well, what the heck happened? Did I log out or something? Because I pay for this. Mickey, Looney Tunes, Betty Boop. So it's a big deal to misspell a brand name, especially a popular brand like Looney Tunes. And it happens over and over and over again. Pre-2004, post-2004, there's nothing. Okay, or if there is, there are very few, and it's people with residual memories. And that's the thing. The editor is going to verify the spelling. You're not going to have this many misspellings in this many papers unless people actually thought it was Toons. Merry Melodies, Looney Tunes, right? Not Looney Tunes. That's why Merry Melodies exist. Merry Melodies was the melody, okay? And the cartoon was the cartoon, Looney Tunes. It's the only thing that makes sense, guys, so take it as you will.